My lords, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to Rimworld. We're carrying on where we left off last time in the Feralisk jungle with two of our colonists suffering from an infection, a new Ratian fever, Ratian fever I suppose it would be. The immunity on Garcia and Leslie is slowly increasing. If you remember, Python has developed an immunity to the disease now, so he is on the mend, which is good to see. So the only colonist we currently have up and about, given the fact that Garcia and Leslie are bed resting, is James. And as we can hear, he's out here harvesting some wood from our little plantation area just there. Well, if we take another look at our stockpile here, we are very full once again, so we need to either have a secondary stockpile or expand this one even further. Although given that I still want to turn this into a workshop area, we don't really have the room to expand it, so we're just going to have to create something entirely new. And I think what we'll do is we shall put... In fact, what we could do is, overnight, we could build a wall out here and have our food stockpile, our raw materials, I should say, not the processed food, the raw ingredients for the food, so your wheat and the likes, could go in here. Then it's a short walk from the kitchen, which is going to increase our efficiency. In the future, obviously, we do want that to be refrigerated to keep the temperature down as much as we can, but that's still quite a ways off yet, but that's something to bear in mind when we're laying out the plans for this room. So that's what we'll do tonight. In fact, Python should be pretty well rested. Indeed, he is. The only problem is Garcia is laid up and not cooking. So let's have her, first of all, refuel the stove and then do a little bit of cooking. She can get herself, I think she's out of bed anyway. But if you look, we have no meals on hand available at the moment, which is not the best situation to be in. So it'll be ideal for Garcia to make a move and start doing some food prep for us. Okay, James is already going to consume a meal, which is fantastic. Python is just doing a bit of hauling, and then we need him to get some food in his belly as well, which he is now doing of his own volition. There we go. So what time is it now? It's 11 o'clock in the evening, so everything should now be fast asleep. So we should be safe now to construct this wall. I think we'll use some of this slate that we have available. So what we'll do, if we just quickly pause it so we can utilise our time as best as we can. And we'll go for a slate wall. And I say we have it. We'll come out 10 cells and go up 14 cells. What we'll also do is we'll put in a wooden access door to the outside as well. So we want to now unforbid that door. And Python, we need you to start working on this slate wall, please. You're in decent enough mood overall. So there we go. Although you've now gone to rest, which we'd really prefer you didn't do. Let's get as much of this wall done tonight as we can. It's still only 1 o'clock in the morning, so plenty of time. Leslie, how are you doing? You're up and about. Just using the bathroom there. Just do a bit of cleaning for me, just while you're knocking around. James, you're fast asleep, that's fine. Garcia, how are you? You're starving. Okay. So once you've dropped that meal off, now eat. And in fact, you can consume the chocolate as well. That'll give you a little mood boost. There we go. And how are you feeling otherwise? Pretty good, so you can continue the food preparation, I think. Python's off to bed. Perhaps unnecessarily. He was quite well rested anyway. But since it's now going to be dawn and all the Feralisks are going to start rousing from their slumber, it's a good idea just to disallow use that door so we don't have any accidental wanderings outside. So who's trying to convert who there? I didn't see, but never mind. Somebody tried to convert somebody. On edge, gain immunity when infection is 99%. I'm guessing that was Leslie, as she has lost the biohazard symbol next to her little icon at the top. So it's only Garcia who is still suffering from the infection. Although her immunity is very close, 96%, 97% and rising all the while. So it won't take long for that to kick in. And in fact, Garcia, you're suffering from malnutrition. No, you're not. Or you were, but you've eaten something. Okay. Or is it perhaps a an effect from the fever that's causing the malnutrition. So Leslie's working on, not converting, we've done that, asking Riser to join the colony, and that's going to take a lot longer, as you can see. Just checking her certainty there, 51%. We've got some squeals out here. Okay, it was a tiger killing a tapir. Who knows? I don't, clearly. Python, what are you up to? I'm going to test the waters here. Python, could you very quickly just come out here and see what happens? If we get the alert that we're being hunted. We have not had the alert. Okay. Do a bit of construction work while it's safe to do so. You may as well. I know you want to go and harvest, and that's usually a good thing to do, but we are pretty well stocked on the food front at the moment, and I would like to get this wall done as quickly as we can, because our stockpile zones are a bit of a concern at the moment. Okay, you're having some lunch, no problem with that. Oh no. Be a burrow? I thought they'd left. Oh, they didn't make it very far. Why were they living in the cave? Huh. Very bizarre. Anyway, they've died due to malnutrition. I thought that was one of our prisoners there, but it isn't. Not sure, yeah, like I said, not sure what they were doing in the cave network there, rather than exiting the map, as I thought they were going to do, but never mind. I'm sure they had their reasons. Alright, let's do some more work on these walls, please, Python. We've nearly finished them. Leslie, what are you up to? Do you construct at all? I can never remember. Construction, what? No, not really. James is a decent builder, however. James, could you come and work on these with Python for me? I know you want to harvest, but let's get this done as quickly as we can. Alright, I guess it's almost bedtime for James then. Python's gone to bed, no problem. Leslie, you're just doing a bit of hauling work and then heading off to bed. All this rice is not going to fit in this stockpile, I can guarantee that, so we need to get this wall done. Oh, James, you're not going to sleep. Okay. Quest failed. Never mind, I can't remember what quest that was, but it's failed anyway. Oh, no. So Garcia has developed eyesight loss. Only initial, so she's only got 5% reduction in eyesight efficiency. So that's a shame. It shouldn't affect her too badly. At least she can continue the cooking efforts in our colony for us, I'm sure. And in fact, she's doing that anyway. She might just move and work a little bit slower. That's what I imagine. And if she was constructing, I imagine she would botch the constructions a lot more frequently than our fellow colonists. Python's up and about after breakfast. What I want you to do, well, first of all, take care of your recreation need. Let's get you in as decent a mood as we possibly can. 70% is fine, and now come and work on this wall. And let's queue up a few cells to be constructed. James, what are you doing? You're still asleep, are you? Well, you did do a bit more work overnight, which was unexpected. I'm gonna amend Python's priorities so they construct first of all, and James, in fact, as you saw, I did James's as well. Because ordinarily, if you have a construction job on, it's something you want done there and then. It's a point job. It's not an ongoing, reoccurring task, if that makes sense. So it's one of those jobs you want to get done and out of the way. Right, let's get this last bit of slate wall done. And then what we'll do, we'll set up the stockpile zone. It's all been roofed over. And there we go. So we'll disallow use of that door. We're going to want a couple of torches in here. In fact, no we won't, because it is an overhead mountain. We should be safe from infestations in this room. So what we want to do now is zone up a new stockpile zone. There we go, just like so. And we'll set this stockpile zone. We'll first of all clear everything. Now, we don't want meals, but we do want the raw food. We'll have the chocolate as well. Drinks, we'll leave everything as 0 or disallowed for now and stick to the raw ingredients. Meals, what meals are you allowing in here? Okay, canned produce, cheese, but prepared meals are not on the list. Yep, that's the way we want it to be. Set the priority to critical, and then we'll have all of this flagged for urgent hauling, and the chocolate as well. The potatoes, a bit of corn not being flagged there. There we go, so that'll all start being brought over. As we can see, Garcia is doing it now. Python failed by building a steel spike trap. Oh, never mind. We've got plenty, and our doors are closed, so they shouldn't trigger unless we have a raiding party turn up, which we haven't yet. But you never know what's around the corner. But I think we have enough traps there to keep us going for the time being. So everybody's just taking part in the hauling activities, as we can see, bringing everything over to our new stockpile zone. There is a reduction in the efficiency because we now have to drag it further to get it into our stockpile zone, rather than just going from this field to this stockpile zone. We're coming all the way through. But in the long run, it's going to be a lot better because Garcia can very quickly drop in, pick up what she needs, and start food preparation. That's all fine. Python, what are you up to? Oh, you're doing a bit more spike trap work. Okay, Leslie, you are unloading your inventory. James, you're repairing a steel wall. And Garcia, you are asleep. So that is slowly subsiding, as we can see. I imagine Leslie's is also quite... Yes, that's reduced quite a bit. Python, that's reduced quite a lot now. You've only got initial level infection, so a couple of days, maybe a day, and you should be free of any ill effects of that disease. It'll be interesting to see whether Garcia's loss of eyesight is a permanent effect. I imagine it will be. As we said, though, luckily it was only initial loss of eyesight, just negative 5%. So nothing too dramatic. But of course, it doesn't help the situation. Leslie's off to bed. On your way, just do a little bit of cleaning up, just to keep the place as tidy as we can. Definitely need to get some carpets through here. A wild man has wandered on. He is called Sandoria. There we are. I don't think we could tame him. I don't think we have anybody who is high enough animal skills. Let's have a look. Python is 1, Leslie is 1, James is 1, Garcia is 1. So no, we couldn't tame him. Let's look at his biography. He's very neurotic, which does mean he works a lot faster, but his mental break threshold is increased, as we can see, and he is incapable of quite a lot there. Although having somebody dedicated to construction and plant harvesting would be quite nice. But given the fact we can't tame him anyway, it's all a moot point. How is Sanford's conviction? It is slowly dropping. It's increasing 1.2% per day. So we need to get Leslie to focus on reducing his certainty. And as soon as he has joined the religion, then we'll swap Leslie and Garcia over. So Garcia will resume her wardening roles. She'll be able to convince them to join the colony a lot faster than Leslie can. As we saw in Leslie's attempts with Riza, she's only reducing it by a fraction of a percentage point. So we'd be here for a very long time if we left it in Leslie's hands, although I suppose every time she does try it, she's boosting her social skill, which isn't terrible, 4.65, but obviously Garcia's is a heck of a lot better. Although, given that we already have 3 members in our religion now, we are able to set religious roles within the religion, perhaps we can just switch Sanford to recruit, and then switch Garcia to our main prisoner into handler. Not into handler. That doesn't even mean anything, does it? Yeah, switch Garcia to our prisoner handler and get the 2 to join the fold as quickly as we can. Obviously, if we do that, we are going to have to construct some extra bedrooms. So we'd mine out this area into this top bit of the mountain here. We could put a couple of bedrooms up in this area, or we could have one down here if we wanted to. Just spread them out a little bit. In fact, I think that's what we'll go for. So if we set Garcia back to priority 1, and Leslie, let's reduce you to, say, priority 2. As we saw, Sanford has gone berserk. I didn't acknowledge it, but I was aware of this. And what we're going to do is switch to recruit. Garcia, can you actually calm him down? No. Although there's a chance you're going to... Yes, you're very close to breaking through that door. So let's arm you. Can you subdue him? No. There we go. Leslie, you are our primary medic, so you stabilise Sanford. Garcia, what are you doing? You're going to feed Riser, okay. So Leslie's on her way to tend to his wounds. Hopefully nothing too damaging. With quite a lot of gunshot wounds, as we can see, so he's going to be laid up for quite a while. Who needs treatment? Garcia needs treatment. What do you need treatment with? Sleeping sickness. Ah! I remember that popped up in the last episode, didn't it? Okay. Could we get somebody to tend to your wounds? Well, you could tend to yourself. You're not going to do... Oh, you're using the good medicine, though, so maybe you will have a good result. 58%. And you're off to sleep. Well, that's fine. You need to bed rest. So the sleeping sickness is at 29%. Her immunity is at 26%. However, that nice 10 quality that she just achieved there may help the immunity rise quite a bit. Is this a fatal illness? It doesn't say. I imagine that it's got a rising percentage. Suggests that it is or it can be fatal. Leslie, you're playing Hoopstone. Well, how about you also come and capture Sanford so he's not just left in the kitchen? And then could you do a little bit of cleaning here? We've got a lot of blood in the kitchen. We don't want that. So this door has been destroyed, if you remember, by Sanford during his raid. So we need that reconstructing ASAP. And Python will have you drop whatever you're doing and come and take care of this door reinstalling, please. There we go. What's that? Is that a bedpan? It is indeed a bedpan. How's the immunity on this sleeping sickness? Okay, it's not rising much, but neither is the overall infection level. It's only 30%. And the immunity has just jumped up to 28% there. So we'll keep an eye on that. James has also developed the sleeping sickness. That was something that happened, as we saw in the last episode as well. I think Python was also infected, or was it Leslie? Well, neither of them are showing symptoms of it just yet. But we'll keep an eye on them too. And the moment they do display symptoms, we'll get them treated as best we can. Mad Aero Fleet. That's no danger to us. It can't get through and trigger our spike traps. And other than that, we are well enclosed, so we'll just ignore that little event. Okay, so the next morning, Python is up and about, as we can see. And I guess he has now developed the sleeping sickness. Indeed, he has. 29% 10 quality. Leslie's reached level 10 in plants. Our cotton has been harvested. Brilliant. That means we can continue the carpet efforts in our main room. Got about half of it done last time around, as we can see, but there's still quite a bit more to do. Each cell takes 7 units of cloth, as I just saw there. Let's just check on you. Okay. Python, how are you doing? 30 and 30. And James, what about you, sir? How are you doing there? 30 and 25, so not great. Well, James, I'm going to have to disturb you, as well as you, Python. I'd like you to come and do some work on these carpets, now that we have a lot of cloth in stock. So, between all the various illnesses and diseases, we've been left with very few active colonists from time to time. I could reduce the bed rest priority, but when they are bed resting, I think it does give a boost to the development of the immunity, so it's worthwhile doing. Python has now jumped ahead, 31% plays 30%, which is good. Garcia, how are you? 30-32, so that's not really stretched out any further. James, you're doing quite poorly, weren't you? Yes, 5% difference there for you, James. Luckily, Leslie, who is our primary clinician, is still up and about and unaffected, so she can take care of the colonists when they require treatment. The only problem is we have no food available, so Garcia, you're going to have to rouse yourself from your bed rest and do some food preparation for me, please. Leslie's cooking still. Well, it's not too bad, but Garcia's is better. And we don't want to risk Leslie coming down with food poisoning at this time. Major break risk. Who's about to break? Python. And why is that? You're ravenously hungry. Well, after you've been to the loo, you can have yourself a meal, which you're doing anyway. And you're also feeding James, so that's James going to be kept nice and happy. Leslie, what are you doing? You're sleeping. Garcia, how are you doing? 32-31, so it looks like the immunity is slowly catching up. Python, hopefully yours has pulled ahead a little. It's, yes, well, no, it's still 32-31. James, you were 5% behind. How are you doing now? Still the same, okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think we'll draw an end to this episode here. In terms of further progress and expansion, all we've managed to do really is this large stockpile zone just outside our kitchen, which is going to make things a lot better for Garcia when it comes to the food prep. Done a bit more work on the carpet, although with Python James being laid up with sleeping sickness, it's slow going. And as I've just indicated there, we've got 3 colonists down with sleeping sickness: Python, James and Garcia. So things aren't going great at the moment. Hopefully in the not too distant future, all our colonists will be free of their diseases and their infections, and we can return to some sort of normality. At the moment, it's a bit of micromanagement needed to keep everybody going and to keep things going around the colony, especially the food production, as we've seen, because while Garcia is laid up bed resting, she isn't preparing the food, and nobody else is doing it. And I don't think anybody else is a decent enough cook to actually do it. Not really, no. There would be a strong risk of an outbreak of food poisoning if anybody else other than Garcia was to take care of the food preparation for us. Before we do end it, we'll see how close we are to a next round of treatment. 3 days, I guess that's going to be the same for everybody. 4 days. And James, what about you? 3, well, near enough 4 days, so still quite a ways off yet. When it is available, we'll have Leslie tend to the colonists rather than self-tending. And if they were tended in their bedrooms when they're resting, I do believe that also helps give you a greater chance of a high score in the old successful treatment percentage point tally thing. You know what I mean. I do think when they're resting, it's more likely that you're going to have a good course of treatment. So for now, all that remains for me to say is, as always, ladies and gentlemen, take very good care of yourselves. It's ta-ta for now.